For Tuesday, March 18, 2025. We meet under the auspices of the State Wetlands Protection Act and regulations, as well as our own general wetlands bylaw and regulations. And our purposes here are to protect the wetland resources and to serve our neighbors, some of whom we'll be hearing from tonight, I expect. This is a virtual meeting conducted on Zoom as we have been for some years now under the continuing authority of the state, and frankly, for the convenience of all concerned, applicants as well as commissioners, as well as other interested parties. And since we're on Zoom, we will be recording audio and video. If you turn on your camera, your shining face will be recorded in our minutes. We also take minutes. We have a chat function on Zoom, but please reserve it only for technical questions because it doesn't become part of the permanent record. There'll be a portion of this meeting where public comment is appropriate, and I'll indicate when that is. And if you're interested in saying something, you can indicate virtually or physically. Raise your hand or click the I have something to say virtual hand raising button on Zoom. Finally, we'll be conducting all of our votes by roll call tonight, and I'll begin by calling the roll of commissioners and staff. Dr. Henry Ottinger.
Here.
Dr. Jeffrey Bodmer Turner.
Here.
Mr. David Lumsden.
Here.
Dr. Olga Hayes.
Here.
Ms. Sari Oseason.
Here.
And I am Steve Gang, the chair, and I am here. We also have Bethany Barstow, our new able conservation administrator. Just because you can't see her mouth doesn't mean she doesn't have something good to say there.
Here.
And if we're lucky, we may see some of the other able land use staff like Shannon Bianchi and Mark Resnick, but neither of them is here as yet. All right. What have I forgotten? Then let's begin. We open with recessing into public hearing and hearing notices of intent. The first is 48 Central Street, Mass DEP 39-926, map 44, lot 19. This is a continued hearing by Richard Bedell, represented by DeRosa Environmental, and I understand they have requested a continuance until our April 8th meeting.
Yes.
Good, and I so move that we continue this 48 Central Street. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Ms. Oseason?
Aye.
Dr. Ottinger?
Aye.
Mr. Lumsden?
Aye.
Dr. Hayes?
Aye.
Dr. Bodmer Turner?
Aye.
And I'll make that unanimous. The next item is a new notice of intent from Louisa McIntosh for 30 Mill Street, Mass DEP number 39-928, map 37, lot 22. This is for proposed construction of a new dwelling located in the buffer zone and riverfront area. And Bethany, I should have warned you that we have a practice of reading the legal notice into the record. Do you happen to have that handy?
No.
Well, you're in luck. I just tore it out of the Cricut. So, do I have to read this whole thing?
Oh.
No. All right. The Manchester by the Sea Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act, the Mass General Wetlands Bylaw, on March 18 at 6:30 p.m. to review a notice of intent relative to the proposed construction of a new dwelling located at the buffer zone, in the buffer zone and riverfront area. Proposed project is located at 30 Mill Street in Manchester. The applicant and owner, Louisa McIntosh, represented by William Manuel of Wetlands and Land Management, etc. So now we are kosher. And Bill, are you here this evening? Yes.
I am.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you for having me. I had a feeling I might be first. when I looked at the agenda.
We appreciate you being
So,
on time.
This is a very interesting project, one I'm very excited about, and so is Louisa and Patricia and Luke Hindenberger will be the benefactors of this new home. Let me just get right to it, and I'll share my screen.
Okay, Bethany, you may need to enable that under the share button, since I can't do that, having been demoted from host to whatever I am.
Okay.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is a key map on the overall site plan, and I just want to use this to start out to show you the parcel on Mill Street, number 30. Basically, it borders Forest Street, Mill. Mill is down in the bottom here, and intersection with Forest here. It's a 9.7 acre parcel. There is the east branch of Cat Brook that basically bisects the property. There's a pond on there that was, I'm told, was an ice pond. And there are the ruins of an old ice shack or ice shed in the area of where the new dwelling is going to be. This is a beautifully kept property. As I said, 9.7 acres. They've had it for quite a long time. The only development is directly around the existing home and detached garage. There's a little bit of maintained lawn, but for the most part, everything on the opposite side of the brook is wooded. There is some sort of, maybe I'll call it walking trails or whatever, but over in this area, and some seasonally mowed grass. But for the most part, most of the property has been kept as close to natural as possible. The new dwelling, the additional dwelling that will go on the site, will be located up in this corner here. Louisa's sister is a landscape architect and had a lot of influence and input on the design and the placement of the new structure. It is intentionally placed in sort of this location to keep it the interior of the site intact. It happened to work out very well with the riverfront boundary and being as close to the riverfront boundary as possible. But when I zoom into the site plan, you'll see that the area to be maintained around the home is extremely limited. And I might as well do that now.
Bill, while you're doing that, can you just mention, is this second dwelling, will that be the primary dwelling, or are there two families living here, or what's the story?
There will be two families living here, and this lot will be divided out of the 9.7 acre parcel once we receive all approvals.
Okay, you're still before zoning in that case?
We don't need any zoning. And actually, your Conservation Commission is going to be the only, other than, you know, the ultimate planning board A&R, Conservation Commission is the only commission that we need a permit for. We actually started out perking the lot and getting a septic system design approved, and then the sewer project went down Mill Street, so we don't need to do that. We don't need to visit Board of Health anymore either. So this is the proposed dwelling. There is a nice privacy berm. Well, it's you know, there's a berm along the road that really shelters the interior of the property. The driveway entrance will respect that and come in this location where we don't have to alter that berm at all, so that the function of it remains intact. There is in this area, here are the remains of the old ice house here. And we initially were going to actually remove that as riverfront mitigation, but then as we got into the project, we don't really need riverfront mitigation. And plus, Louisa and family have decided that's a nice feature. It's a nice historical feature on the property, and they wanted to preserve this old stone foundation. So we are going to. The only thing we're going to do is there's some arborvitae that were planted many years ago, and they're not native, and they're kind of out of place here. So we are going to cut these down. But the bigger part of the project is the home. Let me just walk through the resource areas. So here's the brook. The blue line is one bank of East Branch of Cat Brook. I flagged the riverfront area throughout the entire property so that we can calculate how much riverfront area is on the site. There is bordering vegetated wetland in some areas, and in some locations, it's just bank resource area, but the green line is a combination of either BVW or let's say R5 and A17, A19, 20, 21, 22. The resource area is top of bank, then it transitions again to some more BVW. There is a small isolated area directly adjacent to Forest Street. I marked that out. And so that's over here, but it's the BVW and the riverfront sort of extend further into the property than this little isolated area. What we'd like to do is build a home, a driveway, walkway, little patio out back. I could zoom in a little bit better now. And the gray sort of stippled area here is the only portions of the property that are going to be maintained as lawn, and that is to basically just, keep the woods and brush away from the dwelling. This lighter green area here, we need to grade that out to, well, we put a little stone boulder retaining wall in this location here, and that minimized the amount of grading we would need to do to get back to existing grade. But this area that's going to be disturbed for the rain garden, one of them here and one of them here, and the grading, that's going to be restored with a short grassland mix and allowed to revert to just natural. We're not going to maintain that. So basically of the entire property or all this work, we've limited it to 12,650 square feet in the riverfront area. This lot, it's been with the existing home and the driveway, there are previously degraded areas on this property, previously degraded riverfront areas. So with I'll still call it the relatively new interpretation of DEP that anytime there's a lot with any development or previously degraded area, we should be looking at this being a riverfront redevelopment project. So we've done that. I've gone through in my narrative, I've gone through all the criteria. There's like 5 criteria to meet to satisfy the redevelopment. But the biggest criteria that we're worried about is that we can alter up to 10% of the riverfront area on the property without being deemed as having an adverse impact on the riverfront area. With the development here being so limited and so tight, pushed as close to the riverfront boundary as we possibly can. As I said, we've minimized that to 12,650 square feet. I'm going to go up to the little table I have on the plan here. There's about 8.17 acres of riverfront on the property. 10% of that is 35,929 square feet. The existing degraded area is only almost 5,800. We can alter an additional 29, almost 30,000 square feet. We've limited that to 12,650 for a total site disturbance existing and proposed of 18,437 square feet. That's only 5% of the riverfront area on the site. So we are well under the 10% threshold. for this project, and I don't see. I think the designer that has done a great job in her influence in directing the site work and the site design, minimizing the amount of disturbed area and keeping the riverfront area number extremely small. A couple of things I just want the commission to understand. This is like a stand of conifers here. It's basically shading out all other undergrowth. And so we'd like to selectively thin some of the pine trees to allow more solar exposure in here to help rejuvenate the shrub canopy. We are going to, these 6 arborvitaes, we are going to just cut these off at grade. They're not native, they're landscape variety. We're just going to cut them off to remove these non-native specimens from the riverfront area. This last one here is going to be within the area of proposed grading, so that'll be the one arborvitae where we'll pull the stump. You can see that we are completely outside of the 30-foot no disturb zone, with the exception of cutting these off at grade. The structure is outside of the 50-foot no build zone. The closest, we respect the 100-foot riverfront area. That's an important criteria. So we're outside of the initial 100 feet. We have a DEP file number. They had about 3 comments. One of them was with respect to this note here about riverfront restoration. That's a relic note. It was from an earlier draft that should have been cleaned up. We don't need riverfront restoration for this project. The other criteria was that they wanted us to utilize the preliminary FEMA flood map revisions that are coming out later this year. I was able to view the changes on the FEMA interactive viewer. The 100-year flood zone is outlined in red here on the property. It's one of these FEMA zone A with no base flood elevation designated. So basically we had to scale the FEMA line onto the plan. The changes, the preliminary changes that are coming out, they also designate this as a FEMA with no base flood elevation designated. And the only change is it might even be right in here. The only change was a small triangle of additional land that would be encumbered by the Zone A. We're working with the engineer, Dan Ottenheimer from Mill River Consultants, to be able to put that on the final plan, and we'll be able to bring that back to the commission. So the other comment from DEP was they wanted to understand what's the limit of work. And the limit of work is enclosed by our proposed erosion control barrier, which goes right around here. So that is the intended limit of work, and that's where we got our 12,650. So a neat little project, very excited. A project like this that doesn't exceed the 10% of riverfront area on the lot. You may never find a project like this again unless it's a really big estate lot. It's really unusual that we have a property this big with enough riverfront that we could stay under that 10%. But we're very happy with the design, and we hope the commission is too.
That's great, Bill. Do we have questions or comments from the commission? Henry?
A question, Bill, what material are you using for the driveway?
The driveway will be paved. We are mitigating for the pavement by putting an infiltration trench along the edge of the driveway here. As far as roof runoff, we do have a drip edge around the edges of the foundation. If I zoom in, that's a little bit more evident. And there is a detail on the plan. So drip edge along here. And then we have a couple of rain gardens here and here that pick up the roof runoff. So that's how we're mitigating and treating our stormwater.
Thank you.
Others?
Steve, I have a couple questions.
Fire away.
So my first question is, the historic ruins, did I understand you correctly, Bill, when you said there's no interest on the part of the owners to restore those ruins back to a habitable building or a structure that can be utilized? You're just gonna leave them alone?
We're gonna leave it alone. These are basically grass and shrub covered. Our initial thought was not to restore the ruins, but actually take them out and just get rid of it. We thought that being in riverfront, it may be considered a detriment. Frankly, it'd be more of a detriment to try to remove this stuff. But there's some nice looking foundations here. Most of it's covered up with vegetation now, but we're gonna leave it as is.
Okay, that was my first question. My second question is, in the short grassland area that you're going to grade, are you also bringing in fill to make that a uniform slope?
There's a tiny bit of fill, a tiny bit of grading. You can see there's the 104 contour here. Here's the existing 104, so they're just pulling that out a little bit. Here's the 102 that gets pulled out. So it's I'd say about 2 feet grading down to 0.
And so how much fill is that equivalent to? That you'll be bringing in to the site?
Yeah, I haven't calculated that number, but it's not much because it's only this area here. And as I said, it's a maximum of, let me just make sure I'm not, yeah, here's the 102 and here's the proposed 104. So it's about 2 feet of depth and then transitioning down to 0 in a matter of, a quick measurement, in a matter of 15 feet. So.
Okay, I wish you could quantitate that. As a former property owner downstream along Sawmill Brook, many of the people in my neighborhood were concerned that prior builders in the Mill Street area had brought in fill and had made the water runoff is a lot higher in recent years in Sawmill Brook as a consequence of upstream fill. So that's a concern to me. I wonder if you could come up with some quantitative figures as to how much fill would be brought in.
I
Not a
agree with
problem.
that. I agree with that, David, because unless the area immediately around the dwelling is sloped, there will be some fill to keep it at 104. It's about a third of the building will require fill around the foundation. It may be more than you expect. Any other questions, David?
No, that's all for me.
I've got a couple. One is this property being subdivided for 2 dwellings?
This will be an A&R lot, yes.
Okay, so are your calculations correct if you're using the entire property?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember the detail of the WPA regs, but I remember they apply to single family residences. So will this qualify as a single family residence with 2 dwellings?
This is a single lot right now, and we get the benefit of the 10% of the riverfront on the single lot.
Yeah, no, I understand the 10% completely, and I'm very comfortable that you're well below that threshold. But it seemed to me there were some other standards, performance standards for redevelopment of previously disturbed riverfront. One of which was, and maybe this is just because this is the only way we've seen it before, Bill, is that it applies when you are demoing and rebuilding on an existing disturbed site, or in some way adding to, amending, changing the shape of the existing disturbed site. This one is what I would call a greenfield site. It's not part of what was previously disturbed. Is that kosher under the?
Well, the way
regs?
that the DEP has been reviewing these projects now is that if there is any previously degraded area on a lot, that lot is now considered to be previously degraded and has to be looked at under the redevelopment standards. And so
Gotcha.
we've gone through the criteria
Right.
for the redevelopment, riverfront redevelopment, and, they're in my narrative. I don't need to go over them now, but we meet every one of the criteria, with the most important being the 10%.
Excellent. Thanks. My memory from walking and cycling around there is that some of this area where they're going to be building is pretty heavily forested. And it's a thicket of mature trees. Is that just up against the street, or does that continue as you move into the property?
This area where the proposed dwelling is was purposely sited in this location because it's more open.
Gotcha.
Once you get it past this berm really screens out the property.
Yeah.
But there's
That's why
actually,
I'm asking.
there's a gravel path that leads out to Forest Street. It kind of, works its way right in through here. I think I described this as maybe seasonally mowed in this area here. I won't say it's totally open. There are, it's like patchy shrub growth here and there, but there are definitely areas of grass and openness in through here.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, I, for one, would certainly benefit from seeing the site because, as I said, I've seen it from the road, but it's pretty well screened. Let me see if there are comments from any of the other audience members. Anyone in the public have a question or a comment on 30 Mill Street? Okay, and Bethany, have you had a chance to look at this yet?
Yes, I actually went on last week on Thursday to visit the site, and it seemed very much like distinct, like where the proposed dwelling is compared to like the BVW riverfront area. It's more like upland for sure. And it's more like sparse trees and shrubbery, more open than like a dense forest type, in my opinion. A
Thank
lot
you.
of big boulders too, located on the site as well.
Gotcha. Interesting. Well, how about other commissioners? Is this a site you'd like to view before proceeding?
I certainly do.
Yes, a site visit would be very helpful.
Yep.
And Bill, are you and Ms. McIntosh amenable to that?
Of course.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Excellent presentation. I think it can only be added by some, what do they call it? Ground truthing. Love that phrase. Just a walk around the property, which we could do, I guess, as early as this Saturday has become our habit.
Yep,
Does that work for commissioners?
Yep.
yep.
And Bill, would that work for you or someone on your
Yeah,
staff?
Saturday is fine, hopefully early.
Yep,
8:30,
Early is good. Supposed to be a nice day. You want to say what, 8:30, 9?
8:30.
8:30.
8:30.
8:30, going once, going twice. Bethany, not obligatory for you, but we'd all love to, get a chance to meet you if it's convenient for you. Okay, with that in mind, I'll move then that with the applicant's consent, we continue this to our April 8, 2025 meeting and
Second.
schedule a site visit. Thank you. All those in favor? David,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
Olga,
Aye.
3,
Aye.
and I'll make that unanimous. Thank you. Excellent Excellent presentation, Bill.
All right, thank you for that. I won't have time to have it staked out by Saturday, but with the arborvitaes and the foundation that's there, we'll have an excellent idea of where we are and where the proposed dwelling is.
Great.
Excellent. Would also be useful, given the tree cover right now, that if you could, I'm not expecting you can flag all the trees, but if you could give us an idea of how many of them are going to remain.
You'll see on Saturday, it's very little tree removal.
Excellent. All right, let's move
All right.
ahead to,
Thank you for your time.
Just
Thank you.
before we
yes,
go
Doctor.
completely away from this, in terms of Saturday, should we park in the driveway at 30 mil? Because it's a little dangerous to park along the road there.
Good question.
You can park up
Yeah,
on Forest where the construction is
You can
underway.
either
'Cause the
park
construction-
on Forest
Mhm.
or Luke and Patricia and Louisa, what do you think about parking at 30 mil? How many cars do you think would be there?
Probably two. How many cars are we thinking about? 5 or something?
4 or 5.
That, yeah, that could work. Or Bethany found a spot that's
Yeah,
kind of a pullover on Mill Street that I
there's
think,
like a little one car because I drive a little buggy. Like there's like one car could do like a little outgrove.
Yeah, I'm there
Yeah,
all
that's
the
what I
time.
did.
There is one turnout on the golf course side of Mill.
Mhm.
And then, as
I
I
did it
said,
right-
there's a lot of construction, sewer construction still underway
It's
on
right across
Forest.
the street from 30 Mill. There's one outgrove, so one car could go there.
Okay.
so
I don't
feel
think
free
we'll
to
have any
park
trouble.
in our driveway or on the road. Combination.
Good, we're looking forward to seeing it.
All
Thank
right.
you all. Any other questions? Then let's move to the next notice of intent. This is new for 35 School Street. James Gaddis, map 51, lot 5, Mass DEP number 39-927, a proposed demolition and construction of a new dwelling that's located in the riverfront of Sawmill Brook. And I'll read the Cricket public notice. The Manchester by the Sea Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on tonight at 6:30 to review a notice of intent application submitted by James Gaddis relative to the proposed demolition and installation of a permeable geowall ground. Sorry, lighting is poor here. Grid and a 4-foot diameter dry well located in the buffer zone and riverfront area. Proposed project is at 35 School Street. All right, so who's here this evening for that? Is that you, Mr. Gaddis? You have to unmute, please. Not quite.
There you are.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm on my phone tonight. I'm not the computer thing didn't work for me.
Happens
So-
all the time.
Yes, so yeah, we're proposing to take down the existing structure right now. It's uninhabitable. I think probably everybody in town knows the house we're talking about. It's to come down and we're gonna build 2 townhouses right next to each other. We've passed through zoning, gone through the state planning board, and it's kicked to you guys. I think we're satisfying everything as far as drainage goes, impermeable spaces go, and I think that's it. We're just looking for your okay.
All right, questions or comments from the commission?
I think this is worth seeing the site visit. This should be another site visit.
I agree.
I'm gonna guess, Jim, that you can't really share your screen on your phone.
I don't really know. I should be able to do that.
I don't know if anybody's ever done that, Jim.
NASA
You're
is
welcome to
currently
try.
working on that, but it's even impossible for NASA, so don't worry, Jim.
All right, I'm sorry. Just so you know, I'm pretty good looking.
No, we've got a good view of you. It's just if you wanted to put up a plan or something. I did
Oh,
notice
no,
that,
you guys have all the plans. You have in the package everything, right?
Yeah.
right, well, what we don't really have is what we'd normally call a resource, wetlands resource plan, which would show what you're planning to do relative to the riverfront area. And what you put in there, unfortunately, was just the vegetated wetland buffer zones, the 30-foot and the 50-foot and the 100-foot. And riverfront is a different sort of matter, but you probably know that because that's how you prepared the rest of the filing.
I'm
In
not,
any case, that
yeah, I'm not sure I do know that. So,
Because excuse me.
Yeah.
Henry, because I spoke to Henry and I spoke to someone representing, because I tried to guide them on getting the proper map, layout for a notice of intent.
Yeah,
would
Steve,
be
we
great.
did request that from a representative, Mr. Gaddis. I think her name was Michelle.
Yeah.
And Bethany and I spoke with her about 2 or
Good.
3 weeks ago, and we requested a plan that had the wetland delineation on it, and I don't see that right here.
I'm looking right at it. You guys definitely got it. We had Gail at North Shore Survey put it together. Bethany, I met you on site last
Yeah.
week, I think it was. And
Is it
you,
this?
Shannon and I put it. No, that's it's like the
Is this
last.
a-
I added everything in the packet. I made sure to include everything in the packet, and the new plan. There's a lot of architectural drawings, but the plan should be at the end of the 35 School Street. There's a newer one, not the drawings.
with wetland delineations?
Yes, they should be in the packet. There's
I
a
didn't
lot
find
of things in it, but
out. Great, well,
You talking about
appreciate it.
this? See if I can get it to focus.
You have to
no,
unblur your
it's a bigger
background.
one. It's a
I-
bigger one. Those were the original. Those are what Henry and I advised that are not.
Now, this is what we have as full-scale plans, but there's no wetlands delineation on
Yeah,
it.
that's what the new one looks like.
Okay, so we just need that.
it's a site plan with the
I'm
wetlands on it.
sorry, it has a 30-foot offset from Edge Brook, a 50-foot offset from Edge Brook, and a 100-foot. But those, of course, don't apply here because this is not wetlands, vegetated wetland, this is perennial stream, coastal inland bank. So it's a minor, the 100-foot you can still use.
Yeah, I'm across the street from,
Yeah, we know it well. Was it done by,
I don't have that.
how was it done?
this plan, Gail from North Shore Survey put it together.
Yeah, but the 100-foot measurement,
Yeah, she did all that.
okay,
She did 30, looks like 30, 50, and 100,
right.
which is what was
Which
required.
is but that's what tells us it's not an environmental
Right.
consultant, it's an engineer, because 30 and 50 don't apply in this case,
Okay.
Yeah, we
but 100
advised
does.
Henry and
So-
I advised who Michelle about a wetland scientist.
I think there is some wetlands on the other side of the brook, but that probably doesn't apply on. Anyway, it'll be good to see it. It'll be a quick visit, if that's all right with you.
Yeah,
And,
we've got a fence up around it, but feel free to walk through. Bethany, I know that you were there.
Yeah.
It's easy to see, guys. Shouldn't be any problems.
I think the only thing that concerned me when I first read it, and I'd be interested in if this bothers any commissioners, is that there is a increase in impervious cover. It's the net between taking down that tumble down shed and building a substantially larger dwelling.
Um,
Yeah. The shed's already come down.
I have a
Okay, well, I
question.
figured-
I have
Figured
a
that, but that would normally require some mitigation within riverfront.
I have a question, a little one.
Yep.
On my site visit, which is like the other week with Shannon, James, you mentioned pavers instead of the pea gravel, which were on the original
Yeah,
application.
I'm wrong. It was suggested that pea stone would be a much better solution here. So it will not be pavers. It'll be a pea stone driveway and walkway there for impermeable space. We were going to do the pavers that water can mitigate through, but pea stone's a much better choice for water mitigation.
You agree, Dr. Ottinger?
I do.
And
Good.
and guys, that's what it in the letter of intent. It specifies pea stone.
Yep, that's what we read. All right, so we could
I-
swing past there.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Fire away.
What's the total acreage of this site?
Oh, I think that information would have been in my zoning package. I don't have that in front of me.
Okay, I pulled 4,230 square feet off of
4306 plus or minus in the. according
Oh,
to the
yeah.
ZBA.
Yep.
you have what, Steve?
4306 square feet plus or minus.
Okay. 4,230 was on the Manchester map. And the total building as is was listed as 2,360.
Correct.
So anything over that 2,360 within 200 feet of riverfront is newly disturbed area.
Okay.
So we need a calculation of what portion of the proposed dwelling is what the map of the proposed dwelling is against the previously disturbed area of the existing dwelling, plus the shed, and you list bituminous pavement up on the driveway. Is that still there?
Yes, that is still there, which will be coming out for Pea Stone driveway.
Okay, so that would be included as part of the existing disturbed area, pervious area.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you'd find.
Impervious area.
The whole
Yeah.
site is disturbed, 100% of it. The question is how much impervious.
So, hey, Steve, can I make a point?
Yes, please.
I'm looking at statute 310.58, Article 5, redevelopment within previous developed riverfront area, restoration and mitigation. Point C says, within the 200-foot riverfront area, proposed work shall not be located closer to the river than the existing conditions or 100 feet. Now, if this map is accurate, it shows that the entire project is outside the 100-foot area.
That is correct.
So it would seem to comply with the riverfront regulations on that stipulated point.
Yeah, I think on that one it does. There are other regulations, other performance standards in those.
Yeah,
regs.
like E, which is the area of the proposed work shall not exceed the amount of degraded area, provided that the proposed work may alter up to 10% of the degraded area. And it looks like
Right.
that's exceeded.
Now, okay.
Also need to consider that this is across the street in another home.
Yeah, and in terms of buffer zone, we would be much more lenient. Same as we were with the neighbor La Chapelle at 3 Brook Street, who did a, similarly impactful development with increase in impervious. So I agree, we gotta sharpen the pencil a little here and figure out exactly what's the change in impervious and what's the, is this, how well or poorly this fits the redevelopment of riverfront standards. But at the end of the day, it's a very small lot.
So So
dates.
what's the impact of the project is listed in the paperwork that was submitted for the NOI as a single family home project, and it's not. It's two townhouses.
Correct.
So
It's a, yeah, it's a single building with two townhouses. You can see that in the plans.
yes. But I'm asking Steve, how does this impact the standards related
I
to?
don't know, just as I was saying to Bill, Jeff, I gotta go back and read those regulations carefully, because as I remember, there are multiple performance standards. It's not clear which have priority over which. There's the 10%, there's the no significant deterioration standard, there's the impervious standard,
There's the improvement standard.
there's the improvement standard. And as Bill said, there's this new interpretation that says any part of the property, in the case of 30 Mill, can be redeveloped even if it's totally greenfield. So this one's a bit different, a very compact version of two dwellings on a single property versus 30 Mill, which is very spread out. So I'd beg a little more time to reread that stuff. Maybe somebody else can do it as well. And
I spent the afternoon reading it.
oh God, okay, you're ahead of me. Well ahead of me. At worst, we can, Bethany and the circuit rider can help us. Because these are kind of technical things. But in any case, David, did you have other comments?
Well, I do, but I think your advice is wise. We should all go back and read it and make sure that we fully understand this complicated regulation.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that MACC has a little webinar on it somewhere too that we could access to help us get up to date. Okay, and then that's consistent with trying to have a walk by before or after Saturday morning's visit to 30 Mill.
9:15 might work, Steve.
9:15 might work fine.
Yep.
We're not-
I'm out of the box at 9:30, so I can't go beyond 9:30.
Okay, I don't think this is gonna take a whole lot more than 15 minutes.
No.
But I'm familiar with the property.
It's small site.
It's small.
And Steve, are you taking public comment? Because there's a hand up.
Yep, this is a good point to take some public comment.
Arinda's.
Hi.
Hi, Arinda.
Hello.
Just
I'm the
looked at you.
neighbor. Yes, I'm at 3 Brook Street. I'm sitting right next to the property in question now, and I'm just here to voice my support for the project. It's a real eyesore looking out our window into this backyard with kind of a junkyard in it now, and I'm hoping that it can be redeveloped and we can have some families move in and make the neighborhood feel more complete. So I'm just here to speak in support of the project.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the record, that's Arinda LaChapelle at 3 Brook Street.
Thank you.
Bethany, in the future, when you do your staff notes, you might want to just do copy and paste from the regs and stuff.
Okay.
Whatever's appropriate, whatever you would be considering in reviewing this project, just throw it into your staff notes so we will.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll
Yeah.
have-
I did it how Sylvia and I used to do in Carlisle, but I can definitely rework them for next
Yeah.
time.
I think Chris Bertoni treated us as though we probably hadn't read the regs in about 10 years, and she was usually right. So that was really helpful.
Well, guys, what can I do in the meantime to help?
I guess you could ask your surveyor to show us where, I'm assuming the 200-foot boundary from Sawmill Brook includes your whole property.
Yeah, that'd be on the other side.
Okay, so that's just because she can just put a note on the plan that says that's the case, because those are the ones that we're concerned with, unless anybody wants to make an argument that there actually is a vegetated wetland. around there.
Yeah, you guys will see it tomorrow. Between this property and the brook, there's a street and a whole new row of houses and another yard.
Right.
I didn't even, when we bought the property, I didn't even know there was a brook anywhere near there. So,
Yeah.
but I understand everything, and I'm here to help anything I can do.
Jim, it would be
Thanks.
really helpful if we had the square footage of the current buildings,
Yes,
okay? And then the square footage of the
proposed.
proposed.
Yeah, that's all in the zoning documents, which I can easily get. We had to do all
Yeah.
that to meet
Jeff,
the requirements. Yes.
Yeah,
Jeff, there's a table on this.
I've seen that.
Okay, cool.
That was the original
Jeff,
packet that we got.
does that
Yep.
not satisfy what you're talking about, though?
Did you need more than that?
It says that the existing lot area is 4,306 and the proposed dwelling is 4,306. I don't think that's accurate.
No, the proposed dwelling is not changing the lot area. The row refers to the lot area. It's existing versus proposed. The coverage of the new dwelling is in the table just above, where you go from 903 square feet to 1,644 square feet, existing versus proposed. Make sense?
Okay, I got it.
Good.
So it's 1,956 feet. This says it's 370 feet over.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. 330 feet.
330 feet over.
Wait,
Net-
the existing building is
increase.
not 1,900 square feet.
No, this is total impervious, Jim.
Oh,
The
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
table shows that there's an increase, and that's one of the issues.
right.
Okay. Thank you, one and all. Then I'll move that we continue 35 School Street with the consent of the applicant to our April 8 meeting and schedule a site visit for Saturday.
A second.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor, Henry,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Olga,
Aye.
Sari,
Aye.
Jeff.
Is that Jeff?
Jeff. And I'll make that unanimous. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Mr. Gaddis.
Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
See you Saturday if you're around. And that brings us to the end of our public hearing. And we'll recess out of that to discuss old and new business and approve minutes. The agenda refers to two enforcement issues, a potential violation at 59 Pleasant Street and a potential violation at 68 Pine. Who has updates on either of those?
I added picture updates in the packet. As you
Mhm.
guys could see, I labeled on the top 59 Pleasant picture updates. It looks like a board to park cars on, and that's all I have. I have not heard anything besides those pictures.
Wow.
Yes, there's a gravel beneath it, which is hard to see in the snow cover. But I think that's what I saw just from the street.
May I suggest we swing by there after we finish the School Street thing? Just drive, take a look at it. I mean, we're torturing this poor woman. And that plywood has been there forever. And now she thinks she might be in violation, Mrs. Santos. So why don't we go take a look at it?
Okay, on the way, we can all walk up to the door of 68.
All of us?
Olga.
Yes.
Well, I know, but So have letters been sent and no one's responding? Is that the case on 68?
I don't know. I have not sent any letters. Bethany, have you mailed out anything to
No, this
68?
was before my time.
Right.
here.
Mark had a-
Olga was supposed to.
I think our last vote was, or discussion was that first Gordon and then perhaps you, Olga, are gonna go politely knock on the door and ask whether they'd received the registered letter or not. Or,
I mean, I'll do it very often. I don't really, there's almost like no one's there. I just walked by today and I thought of knocking on the door, but I will. I'll give myself a note, go knock on the door and just ask them. Again, my feeling is it shouldn't be contentious, just like with the Pleasant Street one. And people get upset when they think somehow they've done something they shouldn't. And so
Well,
I will not-
Isn't there, I think I've seen from the street that there's a bridge over the brook.
yes,
I have to,
And that bridge is not permanent.
correct, that's the issue.
it isn't, yes.
So
It's pretty black and white, and the
Well-
bridge predates the sale. It was put in by the builder.
and if the builder did not register the NOI on the CC on the D,
Well, it's a little worse than that. We explicitly told the builder that a bridge was not permitted as part of the NOI,
right?
and along with other conditions about the edge of the stream and the bank and whatnot. So,
So for
It should
stream
be.
crossings like this, you just have to allow critters to be able to pass under it, allow some light, make sure the banks are not eroded by the support
Right.
structures, and we know nothing about this.
yeah,
So,
this one might actually be in compliance with small stream crossing standards, but we don't know.
so we need, Bethany, what we would need is an after the fact RDA or something for this. I will,
Has, wait, someone, has a letter been sent out? Cause I don't
I'm
know.
not sure it ever was sent. I have found a draft from, I don't know, early in the year, in December
Yeah,
or something.
Mark, yeah.
Recollection is it was sent.
I thought it was, okay.
So Bethany, are you coming
Uh,
Saturday?
No, I do not live close at all, so.
Ah, I will go knock on Saturday.
Okay.
So if a letter was sent, and somewhere in the record should be the registered delivery.
I can
Yeah.
like look online, like on the SharePoint cloud to see if the letter's been sent, but it's been really hard to find things pre-me.
Can you ask Mark? He's right there, right?
Yeah, Shannon might know also.
Shannon might know, yeah.
And let me know before I knock, so I'm not
Okay.
blind.
Yeah, I don't want to point any fingers, but there is kind of a black hole event that occurred from around, I don't know, October to Bethany's arrival,
Yes,
where things did disappear, including something both she and I were chasing today. And we're going to have to reconstruct with the help of Hancock Associates.
oh,
Hard to
wow.
believe we could lose the paper and the online and what we did.
All right, so we will drive by the 59 Pleasant. I will go knock on 68 Pine. And what I'll do is I'll write a little handwritten note, so if no one's there, I will leave it there and have them contact me. We'll go from there.
Lovely.
Olga, if you want a bodyguard, I'll go with you. It's on the way home.
Yeah, your gentlest
Okay.
touch demands obedience.
Oh, this is, I
Are you licensed to
believe,
carry?
do I have a license? Yeah, I'll carry my weights with me.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to bring like
This
gentle
is, I
instruments.
believe, Chris, is it Chris, his name, Combe? I
Yeah.
believe that's his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we believe.
Yeah,
Desiree Combe.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
we'll move that an inch.
Thank you.
The other quick thing, well, I suppose we have other, we need a list of, on all that you have here, Bethany, enforcement issues, minutes, etc. There should be other business also listed that's incomplete.
Okay.
But when we get to that, I have a few things I want to bring up, but we can do, the minutes, by the way, are beautifully done. Good job.
Yes, at least to
No,
the
say
point that,
good job to Shannon.
yes.
And did those? Tell him, he did a great job.
Yeah.
Shannon loves doing minutes. That's the good news.
Yeah,
That is
he
Um,
chugs them out like a train, honest.
Were there any letter permits or other things you want to alert us to, Bethany?
Yes. I did a letter permit for Ashland Ave, like 12 Ashland Ave, because they had damage to one of their steel piles.
Actually, they're still wood. They haven't replaced them yet.
Piles, sorry.
Instead of
I
doing
looked
this,
at
we're doing this.
steel piles the other day, so I got
Right.
confused.
Yeah, they haven't changed over yet, but the ice apparently lifted one of their big pilings. So they're going to, when North Shore Marine finishes putting steel and pilings in at Crocker's, they're gonna come around and just vibrate that thing back up to vertical. Which makes sense.
So another
Right.
item that we should add to this list is we still haven't created a line item for maintenance of projects, like decide how much money we would want to put in there for the beavers, kiosks,
Mhm.
signs, stream crossing, bridges, and other things that we just need a line item on the budget for that stuff, which we've talked about, but we've never set an amount.
So do we still have time to put that on the budget for the town warrant?
Yes.
We should do
Yeah.
that. I've mentioned it
Yeah.
a number of times to Greg. I threw out the number $10,000 a year ago. I'm inclined to say a little more now because of beaver
Yeah.
remediation as well as trail work.
15?
Yeah, at least. We
Sure.
can't count on that coming from fees or share of Commonwealth stuff. All right, I'll take it on my docket to go hound the finance committee and Greg to make sure that number is in there somewhere. 'Cause otherwise Greg has to take it out of lunch money.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Greg won't be taking it out of anything.
No, he won't be. He'll be taking it out of one of those little umbrella drinks.
I have one other thing,
We-
Bethany, when we don't have an RDA tonight, but when we have RDAs, make sure you tell us if it's a -2 or a -3, because we always hesitate when we
Right.
decide to vote, we don't know what we're voting on.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's today 7 new filings came in for the April 8th meeting, just so you guys know.
Oh,
Most of the
good.
RDAs.
We'll have steak and liver or something
The
before.
silly season is beginning, and we have to handle 48 Central as well.
Yeah, and by the way, I did listen to that, Alicia's, deep dive thing that she's doing. I listened to the first one. I couldn't get on to the second one. I'm gonna listen to the first one. And the first one, like I was thinking of, is it 208 Summer Street? That if the project, even if our project is outside the jurisdictional area, if it impacts the jurisdictional area, it is within our purview. And I noticed that in their driveway, I just drove by, they're setting rocks there on the stream side, and so they're doing things that we don't know what they're doing.
This is a 208.
Hmm?
208?
I think it's, is it 208 or the
Yeah.
other?
I think it's 212 officially, but it's the one with a very steep hill,
Yeah,
house on
yeah.
the top. Hill is all barren.
Where they cleared the whole, yeah.
It's before the planning
Good,
board
thanks.
right now.
Yeah.
I
that
just
makes-
want to give an update. Everything is caught up. All the backlog is caught up. Officially today, all the mailings went out for the extensions, besides the 19 Smiths Point Road.
Right. Did you get an email from Jay Polakowitz?
Yes, I was out inspecting beaver deceiver devices today when he gave me
Lot
the
of fun.
email.
Anyway, Jay at Hancock promises to send you all of the application materials for that amended order. on
Okay.
19 Smiths Point. Good. Do we have new fees? Have we voted on that?
Yes.
Yes, we did. I
did?
thought we did.
Yeah, I thought we did last time.
And
Yeah,
did we vote on new performance standards for vernal pools?
No.
I don't think.
no,
I don't
but
think we have.
Steve, I mean, I basically agree with what you have on there, but I think I sent you an email that we should probably run it by Alicia, whether it's something that DEP can actually review and regulate, or if we're gonna be like way off the reservation with it. So I thought you should just send it to her to take a look at it.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I mean, of course, it'll be bylaw, not for them to review. It'd be for a court to review.
But we
But she can
cannot,
give us, she
but
can give
she
a
would-
heads up of if we're way out over our skis somewhere.
exactly, that's what I was
Okay.
thinking, and she would do it.
Good. I was going back over a variety of old things, and one of them is the select board is taking responsibility for conversations with Gordon College about their large piece of land in the corner of Manchester.
Wow.
And I wondered if anyone has heard anything from our select board representative.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I just want to note for the record that I have invited him to numerous meetings, making sure he's aware of when we're meeting. But I have yet to see him at any meetings.
Brian?
Brian, yes. I reminded him that our previous representative from select board came to kind of every other meeting, John Round, and that was at times really helpful.
Mhm.
So just a little irritation on my part.
So
Certainly.
what was Brian's response when you reminded him of that?
It was on the order of leave me alone, please.
It was on the order that the less people involved, we may be able to actually move this forward.
Right. I can get a lot done if I don't have to talk to you guys. was the
Exactly.
message.
That was my impression also.
So I'd love to just have the follow-up conversation and ask him how that's working out.
Well, you're
Anyhow,
in his good graces. Go ahead.
yeah, exactly. Last thing is, we're still hoping to get access to some kind of cloud storage so we could look at prior minutes, prior recordings, listen to prior recordings as we were doing in Dropbox, but we're still waiting on Mark and Shannon to figure out exactly how to do that. Their chosen method is SharePoint, which is significantly more difficult, cumbersome than Dropbox. So they got some bunch of security and protocol and other things to work out to get us access to that.
Yeah.
But they did manage to put on the website the meeting packets, which is a great idea, I think, because they're public documents and they could be public from the get-go, so to speak. And then people like Ms. Delicio, who apparently was in need of the abutters list, can just go on the website and get the abutters list.
Except she can't. Because to date, what Shannon's posted is going forward from tonight's meeting. And I was at the office this morning and I spoke with Shannon and Bethany about this and asked if we could at least go back to January and
It's-
get the packets
That's
for.
not correct. The NOI for 48 is in that
Yeah.
shared folder. I
The
saw it.
NOI for 48 was
Page
reposted
48
on
is
this.
the butters.
Was
It's
that
hard.
today? Was that posted today?
Yep.
Was
Oh,
posted
good.
on Saturday, Friday or Saturday. So she can actually look at that one. I think that was the one she was after, right?
Yeah.
We gave her it anyway, like out of the, just in
Good.
general.
Yep. And she didn't even have to pay the $20 fee. That's all I have except minutes. Anybody else have other old or new business? All right. We have minutes that go back to September and October. Are those
Just a
up for
comment,
review tonight?
just a comment before we start to review those, Steve.
Yeah.
There's no media posted for October 24th or September 26th. And there are no minutes for us on either of those two dates.
Okay.
So
Right.
we're out of compliance on minutes on those.
Yeah, that I'll ask Shannon about those because it was a trouble finding like the ones from October and September.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that this is a major issue
Yeah,
in terms of if there's no media, he's got nothing to review to make the minutes.
yeah.
So, but that may put us in a little bit of a bind in terms of compliance issues.
Yep, as you'll see in some minutes, we voted a while ago to request that 3 years of recordings be kept in the cloud or on a hard drive somewhere so that we could go back when we needed to.
Right, but that had to be
Let's begin
something
with,
that, we didn't get a
begin with
certificate of compliance on those.
yeah, let's begin with September 17th. Corrections on page 1. I have 1/3 line under presentation, Greenbelt application to CPC. The first word is concertation, which should be conservation, obviously. And then the next to last line, treatment system and retaining wall within, not with. Page 2. I'm gonna let minor typos go on these, in the interest of time. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Yeah, under archiving recordings near the top. Second line says planning board, select board and ZBA have their meetings posted. That's not what we meant. It's, they have their recordings saved. Everybody has their meetings posted. And finally, page 6, line 3. Planted too close, TOO. Minor. Anything else?
No, just that.
Move September 17th be accepted as amended.
Second,
Okay.
All those in favor, David,
Aye.
Jeff,
aye,
Olga,
Hi,
Henry,
Aye.
Sari,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. October 1st. Corrections, additions?
a comment?
I actually found this one perfect, but I may have missed something.
A comment is that when this gets posted, that the executive session minutes should not be posted?
Yeah, we understand that.
Okay,
Great.
Thank you.
thank you.
Just for everybody's information, this there's been another postponement in the hearing in circuit court to sometime in May, I think. I don't know. Okay, therefore move to accept October 1 as written. Second,
Mm,
all those in favor, Henry,
Aye.
Sari,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
and Olga.
Aye.
Great. October 15.
Looks good to me.
Also really well done.
Is,
The only thing I would add is at the bottom of page 3. Let's put in Shingle Hills permit, Shingle Hills 40B permit, just to distinguish what we were talking about. It's not a Concom permit.
And I have on page 2, 35 Vine, line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway across, there will be stairs from the deck instead of the.
Oh, yeah, there will be stairs from the deck. Good catch.
And on page 3, 2 Boardman Ave, 1, 2, 3, the 4th line, there will be no alteration, not alternation.
Good catch.
No, well, probably be no alternation either. That's good.
Oh, who knows? That might be part of our legal system now, alternation.
there is an alternation. The question is
Yeah, I
whether it
wanna
can
go.
be contained.
I want to go there.
No, I don't think you do.
Okay, any
I-
other?
I had a question about the spelling on denormandy. Is that, I don't know one way or the other. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's right. That's how I've
On
seen
top
it
of page
everywhere
4?
else. Yeah. That's how I've seen it everywhere else, I think. Like De Rosa, except De Normandy.
No, I think that is how he.
Yeah,
spelled.
that's correct. All right, move we accept October 15th as amended. Second,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor, Jeff,
Aye.
Olga,
Hi,
3,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Henry,
Aye.
and I'll make that unanimous. January 14. Move to a new format.
Yeah.
Just as a general rule, if we're gonna use titles for people like Mr. Ottinger and Ms. Hayes, we should just put doctor in front of the people who have a doctorate. So that would be Hayes, Ottinger, Turner, and Bodmer Turner.
so this one's interesting on page, where are we? We have no pages. On 68 Pine Street, it does say the commission discussed that a certified letter had been sent, but no response received. On page 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes,
Yep.
So
good point.
Bethany, you don't have to bug anyone on that one. I'll,
Okay.
The other
Also, we
thing
should
is
spell
that,
check.
Henry's name is misspelled.
Right, spell check Ottinger.
Okay.
And there are no page numbers.
Yeah, that makes it hard.
There's also a section on what we just discussed for the umpteenth time. On under beaver obstructions, beaver solutions about budgets.
Yeah, and Mark was
Gordon
gonna-
asked, Gordon asked Mark if he had included anything in the proposed conservation budget for beaver removal. And Mark stated that he had not included beaver removal in this year's budget. And then Steve noted that he had sent a request to the town administrator for $10,000 specifically for beaver removal. Mr. Resnick said that he would check on that status of the conservation budget.
Okay, well, I will check on him while I check on Greg.
all right, so we need to tell Shannon Bethany that he needs to number his pages.
Okay.
We're gonna take him down just a teeny notch.
No, don't, because he's really good.
They are good, they are good.
These two are a real good team.
Yeah. Yeah, the content was fine. I also think that's not how Jay Polakowitz of Hancock Associates on page 2 spells his name, but I'm not quite sure how it's spelled. I think it has more vowels in it. All right, move to accept January 14th as amended.
Second,
All those in favor, David,
Aye.
Olga,
aye,
Sari,
Aye.
Henry,
Hi,
Jeff,
Abstain.
you're out. Good. David, you're also out. We can't count your vote, so that's 4 in favor.
Thank you for noting.
And finally, our last meeting, where I was not there, and I believe, Sari, you weren't either,
I
but,
was also not there, so that I should be
Right.
in the members absent line.
and Jeff, you were also absent. So
No,
we
I
were
was
just.
present.
He was there.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I get you two confused also.
I know. It's a hair.
It's the hair.
Yeah.
we were a little nervous, but we did great. Henry, you did beautifully.
Yeah.
thank you, Olga. I'm
Yeah,
very,
everything was shorter, Henry.
and Suri are back.
I will second that. It was the shortest meeting that I've been to ever, Mr. Gang.
And it got a big applause.
Not only was it short, but he dropped letters out of his name and everything. It's great. Okay. I just name spelling again.
Yeah.
Titles, names, Mastranzi, Delicio,
I think Bethany Barstow's name is spelled correctly.
yeah, Pottinger. But the content, we didn't have any problems with content.
Nope, and no
I didn't-
problems.
All right. So we need a very special spell checker to go through these things.
Right.
I will in the future, yes.
And I move that with proper spell checking, name checking, February 25th be accepted. I can't even make that motion. I wasn't there. Someone else make that motion.
That's
All
right.
right. I move
Don't
that we
move.
accept- Okay,
Thank you.
second,
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, Henry,
Hi,
David,
Aye.
Jeff,
Hi.
Olga.
aye.
It's accepted 4-0 and we are done.
Then shall I move that we adjourn?
Please
I
do.
think that's appropriate.
I would
And
second.
I'll,
that.
See you on Saturday. I'll bring the donuts.
Okay.
See you all on Saturday.
8:30.
8:30.
Sure. Bethany, thank you.
Thank you, Bethany. Take
Thank
the rest of the night off,
Thank
please.
you.
all.
Bye
Thank
all.
you, Bethany.